Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Thursday, July 7th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Hey, Frankie, you're number one today. Petty Deb, welcome, girl. You are number two. And those joining us over on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, welcome, welcome. I'm sorry there, I didn't open up my camera. It's open now. And we're going to get started here in a moment. Okay, I'm going to stop the music right here. Okay, so I am doing well, Sal. I'm reading what you said. How are you, Sally? I'm about to say I am doing well, Sally. I am doing well, Frankie. I am doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so today I want to talk about death. Can you cheat death? Is that possible? And Final Destination, for those of you who know or maybe do not know, it is from the movie Final Destination. And that is where I am getting this topic from. Okay, so if anyone is, hey, Crazy Town, welcome, welcome. So if anyone is familiar with these movies, I've watched the first three, I do believe. The first one fascinated me because, you know, can you cheat death? I mean, is it possible? Do you guys believe that when it's your time, it is your time? Now, in the first movie, these kids are going, on a trip. I think they were going to Paris or something like that. And one of the kids got this premonition that the plane was going to blow up. But I'm not going to say he freaked out, but he got his butt off the plane, and a couple other people got off the plane with him. A couple other students got off the plane, and the plane did, in fact, blow up, shortly after takeoff. And then as the movie goes on, every one of the, students that got off the plane, one by one, they died in some horrific way. I'm going to use that term because um, I think they died as they were intended to die, meaning when I say that, I mean that in a violent way. A plane crash is a violent way to die. So, having said that, do you think it's possible to cheat death? Do you think that when it's your turn, that if for whatever reason get a feeling and you leave someplace, or if you were supposed to go to a concert and for whatever reason you didn't go, either you did something wrong, your parents said you couldn't go, or your car broke down or something, and there was a fire at the concert or something like that, and everyone died, or the majority of people died, do you think that you cheated death? Or were you just lucky? Or were you just blessed that you weren't there? So, when you see things that happen in the news, um, or you know, if things happen and you say to yourself, "I should have been there." Welcome, T Gun. I should have been there, or I was supposed to go and you didn't go. Are you cheating death? So again, I'm getting this title from the movie, whatever. But I thought it was interesting. So Crazy Now says I need to watch them again. Crazy. Um what I was thinking when 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 I saw this title pop up, because I was watching TV and it popped up and it said, do the marathon of Final Destination, whatever, and I missed it. So I looked it up, and it's actually coming on again on I think it's on the Pop channel. I'm not sure, but I'm already going to record 1, 2, and 3 because I am going to watch them again. Um, so okay, so you're saying yes and no. So I gotta know what you're saying. Okay. No, you didn't in that case, in my opinion. Okay, are you talking about in terms of cheating death? You're saying no, that you can't? Oh, if you didn't go. Okay, but okay. No, you don't think you can. Okay, well, I know we're all at some point we're going to die. I do believe that, I do believe in God, and I do believe, that He has His book. Hey, Crazy's coming up, first time. Welcome, welcome. I do believe that God has this book, where our names are written down. Uh, welcome, Power Girl. Okay, Crazy. Okay, so you have the mic.
All right, let's see if it works because
Okay,
I
you're
got this
very
thing.
faint. You're very faint.
1 second.
And on Popeye Bing's been they did some upgrades a couple of months ago. It seems like some people come in faint, then they come back. So see, welcome Power Girl. Blasky. You are
All
new.
right, can you hear me
Oh
now?
yes, yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, so I only have a few minutes because I'm technically at work, but I noticed that I was answering questions as you were asking them, so it was like, um, so my two answers that I gave was I don't believe you can cheat death, but I'll give you the scenario in which I don't believe that, and then I'll give you the example of when I think you're not cheating death. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, so if I go somewhere, right? I'll just tell you, first of all, I believe when you're meant to go, you're meant to go. So I'm not scared of death. I am, however, scared of the way I would go. So I know it's going to happen. I don't want it to be like extra painful. But like, let's say, if you cheated cheating it for me would think of something that was inevitable, right? Like you really should have died, right? There was no exit. There was no somehow, some way you got out of it and everybody else, didn't, and you have no clue, right? You have no idea how in the world you got out of that situation without dying, right? I feel like that's how, if I did that, I would feel like I cheated death, right? But if I didn't go to a place and it caught fire and that happened to those people, I would not feel like I cheated death at that point. That would be the difference, in my opinion. Like, it's hard to explain what was in my head, but like when you were asking the questions, I was like, no, yeah, I don't think you can cheat it. I think if you're meant to die, it's going to happen when it's
Okay.
supposed to happen.
All right. So let's think about the movie. Okay. And I do know of some people who, when they get on a plane, they get nervous and they get off. not saying that something's
Mhm.
going to happen, but they get off for whatever reason. I don't, this just doesn't feel right. So if you look at that movie and say that all of these students were supposed to be on this plane and they were supposed to go to this destination, but for whatever reason, you didn't feel right, or you're looking at me and you're like, well, why is Sally getting off? If she's getting off, then I'm getting off too. And there are
Mhm.
some people that are doing that, it's because I,
Hey, I
it's
get feelings, and if I get a strong enough feeling, I'm out. I'll
right,
I'll be
right,
honest, for
right.
real.
So is that cheating death because you got off the bus or you got off the train or you
I
got
don't
off the
think
plane
so.
and you were supposed, you had a seat, you were assigned, you were about to go, you checked in, you did all that, but
But I count that as divine intervention. Like if you have such a strong feeling, that means that something is pulling you out of there for a reason, whatever reason. So like I don't know that that's cheating death or just just you're just kind of extending your death a little longer because you're still gonna die. It's not that you cheated it. You're just extending it for another period of time.
but why divine intervention for you and not for the person next to you?
And that's a $1 million question
you know
because I believe in purposes, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying that one person's life is not have any more purpose than the next, but if you're supposed to be called home, you're supposed to be called home. There could
okay.
have been a million reasons for that, right? I mean, th- I've had conversations about this. You can go rounds and rounds for whatever reason, and
Mm-hmm.
and you can give logic, and you can throw opinions and universal signs and all kinds of stuff in there, right? So maybe it was your time, but all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, you actually didn't fulfill this. So you get these butterflies, and you're like, okay. So was it gas or was it divine intervention? I don't know. Maybe it was gas and you just like, oh, that's a sign. Maybe I should get off the bus. I don't know. But I don't think you could cheat it. You can't cheat it because you're gonna die regardless. I guess if you're asking, um, the reasons
Well,
why we die at this time versus that time, I
no,
don't
I
know.
mean, I'm just saying, welcome, Dina Joe. I'm just saying that. Okay, so
Dina,
again, I'm just referring to the movie, and Frankie says to Crazy Town, "Love your conversation, and I love your chat." So I'm happy. I'm tickled
oh,
that you are here. So
thank you.
yes, so
I
so
want to call in all the time, but I'm always at work, and I'm like, I
I know.
can't.
I do mine
Yeah.
in the middle of the afternoon. But I just want to know, okay, so again, going back to the movie, and these people got off the plane and one by one they started to die. So do you think that's possible? Do you think that if you were supposed to be here, or if you were stepping out in front of a bus and someone pushed you out of the way, you're happy that they pushed you out of the way, but were you really supposed to get hit by that bus? And then,
Now,
but is it possible
yeah.
that next week you could be in a car accident or something and you can die?
Yeah, see? Yeah, so that's a little bit different. You're throwing in some variables there, right? So somebody intervened. It wasn't a sign, it wasn't a feeling or whatever. So that person cheated your death. So like you were
But isn't that still divine in
um
intervention if someone is still there
well,
for you, that God or whomever put that person there to pull you out of the way?
yes and no, because it could be divine intervention, but it also could be free will.
Okay. All
So
right. See now, girl,
I'm really me.
you getting all
You can't get me
into
in
the
these
weeds
conversations.
here. Okay. No, I mean, I like it because I'm throwing it out and you're throwing it right right back to me. So okay.
So,
All right. All right. So
but I do believe in that, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am a huge believer in the universal connections and interventions, and I'm heavy into that. So, like, that's why but it's also tough because I have an analytical mind which wants to put logic in, but that's not always that movie. If I'm being real with you, I'd have to watch it again because it didn't make an impression that big of it was a good movie, don't get me wrong, but I could sit there and pick that movie apart all day long. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, since I only have you on a limited time here, I want to ask you this.
Sure.
If you knew the date and time that you were going to die, would you do anything different or okay, I have two questions. Would you want to do anything different or if someone said, Crazy, I can give you the exact date and time that you are going to die, do you want to know? Would you want to
I
know?
don't want to know. Absolutely not. Because if I knew what day and time, I could sit here and tell you that that would not affect me because, I'm strong minded and this and that. But I'm going to tell you the minute you know something, you can't unknow that. And I feel like in life, ignorance is bliss on a certain level. I wouldn't want to know the day to my demise because what if I then take start making bad decisions because I'm making rash decisions because I'm extra worried about stuff, because honestly, and I can tell you I'm not prepared. I should be. You should prepare for that stuff before it becomes a no, like inevitable. And if you know that day and you know that date and time, I'm gonna tell you, me, that would stick right here in the back of my head, and I would never forget that. And every decision I made from the time I found out till that time would be based on that, and probably a lot of bad decisions
But do you think
because
that
of
they would
rationality.
really? But do you think that they would really be bad? I mean, don't you think that your decisions would be more thought out because you would want to make the most of your life? I mean, you don't want to do something bad that could land you in jail or
Of
hurt
course.
or
Oh,
or or,
not
or
like
hurt
that.
or
Not
hurt
like that.
someone. But
Right.
I mean, I'm just
Hmm.
saying. But when you make decisions where you're more thoughtful and things that you have your list of things to do or maybe you'll spend more time with your parents or your kids or whatever your dog whatever.
So now you're throwing variables in.
Well, I
So
that is what I
that was,
do. I have to.
yeah,
So
and that's fine. That's fine. But see, then I'd have to pick apart every scenario because look, in my scenario, if I found that out today, okay, someone told me that. I don't have parents to worry about, not and my son's grown. I don't have animals that are a problem because I have that part of it figured out, like that part. I have life insurance, I have stuff like that. You know what I mean? So maybe not. When I say rash, for me, I'm just speaking on me alone because I'm a way overthinker. I'm super. I think of 59 scenarios that did not happen but could potentially happen. So, like, if I knew that the variable being the person, so me knowing that date might completely unravel my mind. Maybe I'm not stable enough to know that date. With somebody else, it might put them put their life in perspective, and it might give them a chance to put everything that they should have done into high gear. But in both cases, that means that there's something that we need to work on in our lives, right? Because that date shouldn't affect whether you're prepared for that date or not, because
okay,
we know that date is inevitable, right?
all right, all right. So
So,
let me ask this then. Do you think, and again, no offense to anyone who may be going through this, I'm literally looking at can you cheat death? So, do you think that people who have cancer or have, you know, uh, uh, they need a, transplant or something like that, and they get it, or you go through some type of what chemo or something. Do you think that's cheating death?
um, no, because I think for me, at least from my opinion, you have the right to try to hold on as long as possible because, again, because my belief is if it's your time to go, you're going to go regardless of what you're doing. So you might have had chemo, right? You're trying to save yourself from a disease, but if it's your time to go, you may leave that hospital, leave your appointment, and meet your demise after that. So that's that's why it's kind of hard for me to. That's hard pressed to answer that because there's also a lot of variables.
Okay, so if people who have a DNR, um,
Hmm.
that so you would classify that
That's
in terms of free will.
free will.
Okay, so
Because,
no,
sorry.
no, I was just going to say, so people who don't respect someone's DNR because, oh no, I want you to be here, whatever. Do you think that you're cheating them out of death? Does that make sense?
Yep. And I'll tell you why my opinion on that is because that comes from a conversation I had with my dad when I was a kid. He had a DNR, and he told me when I was really young. I mean, I grew up fast, so it was not a bad conversation. But he told me, he was like, "Do not let them." He goes, "I don't want to live like, because when the variables come into play here, right? How long were they out? How was it a stroke that you're bringing them back from? Are they going to have to be on machines? Because my dad told me, if I got to be on a machine and you don't cut me off, I don't want that. And so you're taking away somebody's rights. You're using your free will in what you want to do, not what they want to do. So I feel like if someone has a directive, you should match that. You should meet that directive. It doesn't matter because you're not supposed to do based on your emotions. You're doing something that somebody asked you to do for a reason. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So
so again, getting into the weeds here. So if you don't respect someone's DNR, because I would want one. If I'm, have cancer or something like that, or if I'm going to be
hmm,
hooked up to something, number one, I don't think it's fair for my family to go through that and then
that's right.
spend all this money. I prefer you to, I die, you grieve and you go on instead of
Me too.
prolonging it, So do you think that, this is a little off topic, but still with the cheating death and everything, since you disrespected my DNR, be it a doctor who just wanted to, could not just allow you to die, or your loved one or whatever, can I sue you?
Yeah,
And should I be able to win?
yeah. Because because obviously it depends on how you come out of that. You know what I mean? You may not ever wake, who knows what happens on the other side of someone bringing you back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having you hooked up, whatever. So, because maybe not sue for money, but sue and then let them know that, hey, like, I mean, it's, God, variables kill me to death. Um, so like it depends on who it is, okay, obviously. And you're gonna be like, me personally, I would be highly upset. And if it was anybody other than somebody that I truly loved to death that I would not sue, I would sue your ass off. Because if it was a hospital and you had that on file and it was clear, you are in the wrong and you are prolonging, you're causing more suffering in some of those cases for no reason. There's not, because they can't kill you again. If they resuscitate you, they can't go, oh shit, you got DNR, got to kill you.
Right,
You know
right,
what I mean? So
right.
now until you die again, you are either suffering or somebody is suffering, and somebody should be held accountable for going around somebody's wishes. That's just respect for me. So
All right. So again, I gotta get all my questions in before you say you have to leave. So going full circle, coming back to can you cheat death? I believe that God put doctors on earth for a reason. I believe that they were created to help, and over the years, things have improved. The doctor from 1802, did not know as much as the doctor from 1902, and the doctor from 1902, and so forth, so forth.
agreed.
But at the same time, do you think that when some of these doctors who come in and they perform these miracles and they save you and they do all that, again, is that cheating death? Were you supposed to die, but then someone comes in and they operate on you and you don't die? I mean, is that a way of cheating death?
I will say that my opinion on that is if you caught it to where it can be fixed and somebody has that skill to fix that thing, I think that's because all of that to me, talent and skills and stuff that is God given, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the talent to fix somebody else to mend their temple and it wasn't necessarily a fatal thing to begin with, but became fatal for whatever reason. Again, variables, which I won't get into. I could go on for hours, but you, you're that's different because just remember that some people don't catch stuff that could have been operable at one time until it's not operable, right? So that's also you'd want to ask that too. Okay, so why didn't we catch that? Why didn't we have some intervention early on? Because there was a person that could fix that, right? But if there is somebody that can fix it, you catch it. I feel like that's different. But I'll also give you my other side of that too. I think that a person has also the right to refuse treatment. A lot of people give a lot of people crap. They're like, "Oh, you could so fix that. Why are you so hard headed?" Just look, you know. Sometimes it's just like that. So
Well, okay, so if people refuse, then parents who refuse to take their kids to the doctor and their children end up dying?
they should be held accountable because you're
But
responsible for the welfare of another person. If you're responsible for them, those kids don't have DNRs, right? They
right,
don't have
but if
that.
okay, but would we but if an adult, and I'm playing both sides here, if an
Hmm.
adult refused treatment, would they be treated the same way as you not as you're refusing treatment for your child?
No, because again, you're looking at free will for your own temple. You're not responsible for somebody else's temple. That's why, like power of attorney, right? Things like that. Like you're giving someone else your free will if you give someone else power of attorney too. So that's another side to the coin. There's so many different things. If you neglect is neglect, and if you have a child that's sick or a grandparent or whoever that's in your care and you are responsible for, and you don't care enough to do that, I think that you should be held responsible for that in some way, shape, or form. Whatever that is obviously, you know, based
Okay,
on what it is. But
okay, all right. Crazy town. I'm just tickled that you came up here. No,
I'm glad I got a chance to.
no, because every time you're in the chat, you're always saying stuff. I'm like, damn, I wish you would just come up, But again, I know people are at work and everything, and so. But thank you so much.
Yeah, I love discussions like that. Most people don't know that I even can get serious, but I said not on my show, just on other people's
Just on
shows.
other
That's why I
people's
get into
shows.
this. Yeah. So I was like, and that's why I was like, right now, I was like, oh, I'm answering questions, and she's not. I was like, I gotta try to call up and see if I can at least, because I mean, it's an interesting topic. All of them are, but it's so I'm one of those. When you get up here, you can ask JP, who's out now up here. Like I pick everything apart. I mean, I have the spiritual side and the logical side that constantly go at war together. So it's if someone gives me something and I can't answer it directly because I'm thinking 15 reasons why else, I want answers to those other questions before I give a direct answer. Because that's why I always say, in my own opinion, I'm only using myself as an example.
Okay, all
Because it's
right,
tough like that. I mean, you're gonna think something different because your situation and mine are not the same, even if the situation is similar.
right,
You know what I mean?
right. Well, I am going to hop over to Saturday night smoke Saturday. Thank you so much for being patient. And do you want to comment or push back on what I said, or what Crazy said, or you want to throw in your own 5 cents or $1.50? So
Hey, good afternoon, Solid Blue Sister, Crazy. Solid, you can call me JP, John Paul,
okay,
my name.
all right.
Saturday Night Smoke is a hard, long thing to
Well,
say every
that's
time.
that's why sometimes I just say smoke sometimes. So
Yeah,
so all right.
yeah.
So what do you think?
I I think I mean it's one of these weird conundrums because it comes down to personal choice, but at the same time, if you're responsible for, like, the children is what got me, right? Because you hear all the time about, children who have cancer or something, and then, the parents are real religious and they don't, go to the doctor or whatever. And to me, that's just not right. But that's my own opinion. It doesn't really mean anything. But that's why I just feel for, like, the people who have to make those decisions, like the judges and other
Absolutely.
people, because they're like in a. It's not necessarily a no-win situation, but it's impossible to make those right choices all the time.
Hmm.
And I don't want to be them, but I, I'm not a religious person, but I pray that they make the right decision, which doesn't make any sense. But
Okay, well then let me ask this because you came in after after I started my thing when the show first started. When do you think it's possible that if you were on a plane and the title is coming from the movie and you got off for whatever reason, you felt something or someone else was getting off and you're like, well, I'm getting off too, and then the plane crashes or blows up, whatever, or you're on a bus or whatever, do you think you cheated death because you should have been on that plane?
I don't think so. I don't think cheating death. I mean, I kind of feel like, not that everything is preordained or whatever, but your your time on Earth is set already, and it does, to me. It's not like a religious thing so much as it's just, we all make choices and consequences and stuff like that, and it just ends up the way it ends up. And so I wouldn't say like I cheated death if I got off a plane that crashed.
Do you think
I'd
there's
feel
a such
lucky,
do you feel
but
lucky? Okay. Do you think there's a such thing as cheating death?
I it's probably just semantics, but I don't think so. Like I said, I think that everyone's time, it's already been determined. Like, and
Yeah.
not that everything is already determined, but like your time on Earth is already determined. That's
I'm
that's
solid. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to interrupt, but I do need to drop down and I actually have to leave because I have
Okay.
a meeting that
Hmm.
I just came up. But I appreciate you. I'm sorry, JP. And I wish I
I
could
appreciate
stay because what's that?
I appreciate you, crazy.
Everyone
And I
appreciates
appreciate you,
each
Salad,
other.
and you guys. And I want to come back and I would love to have any conversation. Just know that you gotta you gotta reel me in sometimes. But I appreciate you guys.
Well,
I
crazy.
gotta go.
I will say this really quick. You're someone
Hmm.
who Ba and I should have on our friendly differences because yeah, we can really get into the weeds there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I know. I wanted to come up for a couple of those, but I couldn't. But soon though, I will be back though.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye. Okay. So do you think that again? I do believe that everyone has a time, but do you believe that some people's times come too soon? That they
Oh,
weren't
absolutely.
okay. So was it really their time then? Like if if you can't cheat death, then was it really your time?
Yeah,
I'm trying to make sense here. I know what I want to say, but you know,
yeah. I mean, I guess so. Like when you're saying like cheating death, so like if somebody was in just some world, just imagine that you're gonna live till you're whatever 70 years old, and for some reason you live to be 72. You know, I don't know that that's cheating death. I mean, you could eat well, right, and exercise and all that other stuff, and that in a way is cheating death. In if you think about it, but it I don't know that it's really like a one for one correlation. Like
well, and that's why I have the title again. Going, have you seen any other Final Destination
yeah, yeah.
movies?
No,
Okay,
they're
so that's why I'm that's why I'm asking that you were supposed to be a certain place. You were supposed to do this. You were supposed to be on that. And then you left or you got off or someone said, come on, we have to leave because I have this feeling. But you were supposed to be there. And something happened. Everyone else died and you didn't.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were supposed to be there, then you would be there. Maybe you were not supposed to be there. And
it happens, isn't it?
That's
like
what
you
it
know,
is.
like yeah. I believe in a strong movement.
Caps.
Oh, sorry.
Caps. I'm getting to you, Caps. Okay, so Saturday. Okay, so again, if first of all, those movies, they fascinated me. Some people may say, oh, they were silly, whatever, but it fascinated me on the whole thing about death. That through this whole movie, that even though these kids got off this plane, or I think another time it was they were supposed to be on the freeway or whatever, it just fascinated me because someone got this premonition.
Final Destination was one of the best films made.
So again,
it was brilliant.
So again, my question is, are you cheating death? So Saturday, I mean,
I just go back to I don't think it's cheating death. Like, and again, I think it's probably just semantics or whatever. But if I choose, not to fly at all ever, that doesn't mean that I was going to die in an airplane crash.
No, but that means that you could die instead of flying. You decide to take the train. You can get into a train wreck, right?
Right. But I mean, I'm saying like, so, but who's to say like that's how you're supposed to die? So
okay, all right.
I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I like those movies mainly though. But it just seems fun. I mean, it's a movie, so it's made up or whatever. But
it's fiction. It's fiction, man. Obviously.
But I think like my wife has been watching Murder, She Wrote, and I don't know Solid Blue if you remember
I do
Murder,
remember
She Wrote.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that was so funny to me, and I remember thinking this as a kid or whatever, watching it, is like wherever she went, someone died. It's like, well, if I saw her, I would just leave because I don't want to die. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, it's just fiction. It's just like, that's what the story is. You had to have a death there.
All right.
So I don't know. It's probably
right.
just semantics, like I said.
All right. Well, Caps is he is waiting. He's okay. Caps, go ahead. You have the mic. It is your turn. Caps.
Now he doesn't want to talk.
Now you don't want to. Time Caps is talking. Now you don't.
I need to smash my fucking phone up, man. 1 minute.
Oh, you and those F-bombs. Just love them.
Too many things going on in my house at once. 1 minute. Give me a second.
Oh boy. Well, while we're waiting for Caps, Saturday.
I'm ready now. I'm ready.
Okay, you're ready.
Right,
okay.
So let me hide this shit because I can't fucking hear. So, like, yeah, you're talking about Final Destination movies, so to speak. Yeah,
well, I'm using that as
an example.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, with me, I truly believe that you're actually. When I was younger, you all think you're infallible when you're young, don't you? You think that you're purely infallible. You know, like, you can't be touched and all that, for and as you get older you learn. And so when I watched Final Destination, like, yeah, what that teaches you is actions. It's like, if you're wise enough not to be put in a position where you could be in that position, without the fiction side. Like,
but how can you be wise enough if you're getting on an airplane and you don't know if the plane's going to blow up? So
but yeah, don't get me wrong, but that's fear. That's like just enhancing someone's fear of flying on an airplane, because the majority of the case that doesn't happen. Like if so you got to look at it from you got to where are you going with it? You know what I mean?
But
You know,
people
like
do have
every
a
action.
fear of flying, though. People do have a fear
No,
of.
no, of course, I understand that people have a fear of heights, but obviously they choose not to go high, because they don't like it. So everyone to their own, but you don't change things in order to make it. Hello, Bar. I hope you're doing well. But you don't. I don't know. Like I understand where you're coming from, but you've got to look at it from the other view as well. Definitely, like the fear factor is a fear factor, but we're still gonna do it. Like
Okay, but I'm not
someone could
okay.
say to me, I could go on a ship,
But
I could go
Caps,
on a
I'm not
boat.
okay. But I'm not talking about fear. I'm talking about cheating death.
Yeah, but cheating death is like a fear. Like all right, and so I'm not gonna lie. I have had a car come at me, and there was a lamppost, and I went behind the lamppost, and the lamppost, he hit the lamppost, and not me. I cheated death that day. Do you not agree, or do you agree? Or did I use my intuition? Did I use my movement in order to make sure I fucking cheated death? Because I seen the lamppost and I thought, I'm going to stand here because it's like a tree. You stand behind a tree
Well,
just
no,
like
I
a
mean, no,
lamppost.
I
No,
would.
but I did because that person wanted to kill me. So what did I do? I stood behind a lamppost about a meter away, 39 inches, and then yeah, man, I didn't get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
You kind
I
of
cheated death. I cheat. No, but
kind of
think about
lost
it.
me here.
No,
Did
how can I lose you? I cheated death.
did,
I
did your
cheated death.
did your
That
wife
literally.
apologize?
No, but JP, I hope you're doing very well. But I cheated death that day because that bloke was angry, bro. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, seriously, man. I was only like 15, 16. Well, I had a problem with a bloke, and boom, he drove his car into a lamppost. Luckily, it weren't
Okay,
me. He
okay.
tried to go for me, but I cheated death. That's the same thing. Your actions are the reason why you either dodge it or it's a hard one saying cheat death. Come on,
Okay, so
because have you cheated death? Have you cheated death?
I don't believe that I ever have. But let me. Okay, let me ask this because I'm trying to. Okay, I wish you were here when Crazy Train was on because we were. She brought up divine um, uh, intervention. We talked about DNRs. We talked about people who have cancer. You know, if you and again, if you have cancer, and no offense to anyone who does, I'm not trying to offend anyone. If you have cancer and you get these chemo and all this other stuff, is that a way of cheating death? If you get a
Sadly enough, mate, you're trying to help yourself, aren't you?
okay, all right. So again, I'm just throwing different things out there. Just
No,
in,
no, I agree. No, I understand where you're coming from, but yeah, like if someone's taking chemo, like at the end of the day, all they're doing is trying to eradicate the bad cells. But in the end, with chemo, you end up eradicating the good cells as well, sadly enough, and you're lucky to be alive after it. So it's a horrible movement, but like I'll big up everyone who's done it and in remission, and they're good because there is hope. There is hope. And I don't think you're cheating death. I think that we're just surviving. I don't like the terminology of cheating death. I don't like it, to be honest. I'm not going to be I'm not cheeky to you. I think you're brilliant, solid. Like, I love your movement. But yeah, in my own opinion, cheating death is more of like, ooh, death. Like, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna go, in our own time. And the only thing we can do is, like you said, like what I said, sorry, is your actions speak louder than words, and it's what you do for yourself, you know. Like me, I'm a hypocrite because I contaminate my body as much as I work and do what I need to do. So I ain't no fucking preacher, but I think that for everybody, we've all got our own demons, but you know
Yeah.
what, you're good people, and that's it. And you're not cheating death, you're living.
Okay.
Fuck death,
All right.
you're living.
Okay.
You're living. Trust me.
Okay. All right. So Saturday, did you want to pop in and say anything else? Because I have another question about cheating death.
Yeah, I guess I was just gonna say something about like divine intervention. Like to me, that's just like so egotistical. Like, oh,
Wait, wait,
God
wait, wait.
save.
You're saying divine intervention is egotistical?
Yeah, to think that like God saved you, out of all of the things, right? Like, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would God save one person over another person?
Again, it's interesting. I wish you guys had been here at the beginning because Crazy Train, she had all these, I mean, she had all these different reasons, because I asked her the same thing. Why would, God save you and not the person that is sitting next to you? So again, is divine intervention, do you believe in that? So instead of saying, can you cheat death, is it divine intervention, or is it just luck?
Yeah, I would tend towards the luck piece of it, and not. I mean, and not if someone believes it's divine intervention or believes that they cheated death. There's nothing wrong with that. It's if that makes them feel better, or
Okay, so let me.
there's nothing wrong with it.
No,
If you
no,
don't get run
no.
over because you looked twice and you didn't get run over, you cheated death, you could say, and it skimmed past you. The wind mirror hit you.
All right.
You know what I'm coming from now. It's like you could look at it in many angles. As you got intuition, you got movement. You can't buy shit from the shop to get your own movement going for your own brain. And
I
that's
am
the thing.
I am going to
Initiative.
read.
You can't buy initiative from the shop,
Okay, Caps.
and that's what it
Caps.
is.
I'm going to read some of these comments. Crucible says, "Is there a difference between cheating death and postponing death?" And Cap says, "It's how you look at it." So, Smoke, to what you said about divine intervention, if you have someone who is religious or they believe in God, then they will say that divine intervention is possible. I mean, you know, there have been, I remember uh, in Chicago when they were working on um, a building downtown. Someone was sitting in their car, and one of those things that knock buildings down fell loose, and someone was sitting in their car, and that ball stopped literally short. I mean, it broke the man's window and everything, but it stopped short of killing him. Is that luck? Is that divine intervention? I mean, what is that?
I would just call it luck. Like it's it was just it was just lucky. I mean,
Yeah, it's pure luck. Yeah.
But you
I mean,
but you hear
you
but
can't
you hear
explain
stories,
explain it.
but you hear stories about people, where that happens. So see, I think that there's a higher being there, that's just not luck. That there was someone, the way when I heard about it, I looked at it as, because I do believe in God. I do believe it was like Jesus was sitting in front of that person, and that intervention was there, where he was able to literally get out of his car and walk away. So,
Well, I think Caps and I are both engineers, so we look at it from the standpoint of, well, why did the ball fall? Maybe somebody didn't do a good inspection of it or something. Why didn't God give that guy who was doing the inspection of it the brains to, hey, there's something wrong
true,
with this ball?
true, but okay, but at the same time, maybe it wasn't for the person who was supposed to be responsible for that particular ball or whatever. Maybe the lesson and the message was for the person who was sitting in his car. Maybe he was going through something where he needed to have faith on something or whatever, and the message wasn't for the person who was responsible, but for the person who almost got hit.
Yeah, and I mean that's where I guess it falls. As someone who's not religious, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay,
Like,
all right.
it,
So
it
I'm going to go
doesn't.
to Crucible. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, this is an interesting topic, and my view on this, I think, is similar to other people's. I don't think there's anything novel about what I'm about to say. At least I've heard a lot of people talk this way. In my belief, and I'm not a super religious person, but I did grow up, learning religion and being taught religion. And what I've always been taught, and I believe, I don't necessarily believe in divine intervention, but I believe if you believe God created the earth and created all of us as individuals, then I believe that he has a plan for all of us. He knows when we're going to be born. He knows when we're going to die. And he has a pretty good idea what's going to happen in between. So when you say cheat death really, in a literary sense, means to overcome very, very long odds in a particular situation, whether it's a possible fatal event or just a business situation, where your odds of winning in that situation are overwhelmingly against you, and yet you prevail. But you probably could still a week or two later be in a similar situation and succumb to that because the previous instance wasn't your time, but the next instance would be your time. So I think it's all written beforehand. And I think when we, to your example, you're sitting on a construction site or you're sitting someplace and something falls and hits the person next to you and you survive and that person dies. I don't think that's divine intervention because I agree with whoever was saying, why would God choose to save you and not the person next to you? I don't think God picks and chooses. The person next to you was supposed to go then, and you weren't. So I look at it in a very simple way. I can't prove any of it. I have no science behind it. I'm just kind of what I was taught. But I think when you cheat death, you're just postponing it. We're all going to die. But I think in the literal sense, it just means surviving a precarious situation in which you could have succumbed. So.
Okay, all right. But again, I don't think God picks or chooses, but I do believe that he, gives us lessons. And again, going back to the movie, and I know I'm talking about a movie, but I'm using it as a guide because some of the things that happen in that movie have actually happened. So you know, do you think that is possible when people have these freaky deaths, whatever, it's like, wow, they actually died by that, that's just freaky, whatever. um is that something that, I mean, like, why do some people die in cases like that, but some people just die in their sleep? I mean, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, can I need I know what I'm trying to say, but it's not coming out right. Um when people die, and Crucible said if the person sitting next to you didn't die, but you did, and God does not pick or choose. If I'm on working on a building and I start to fall and I'm trying to grab onto something and I grab onto you and you make me fall. Was I supposed to fall? Like, was I supposed to be? I mean, like, how come, why did you grab me? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It's like, Was I also
I would say yes. I would say yes in that situation. I would say yes. I think it's part of the same example that I just tried to give. You were not maybe supposed to die that way, but if that person grabbed you and brought you down with them, then it was both of your times. I think
Okay.
if you track with what you agree with what I said previously, and you don't have to, but if what I said has any plausibility to it, then what you just said would be consistent with that. It would be your time.
Okay, so you just cleared up how I wanted to say this. So you said that I was supposed to die, but maybe not that way. So if I wasn't supposed to die that way, was I supposed to die?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I mean, it's a good question. It's a good question. As I was answering it, I started to think maybe I'm contradicting myself here, because I guess technically, if you were supposed to die that day, does God get to the point where He knows how we're going to die? So if I'm being consistent, and I'm not sure I just was, I think you just kind of caught me there, Solid. If I'm being consistent, then if you were supposed to die that day, then maybe you were supposed to die that way. I don't know that you can separate the two.
Okay, all right. Alpha Mike says if you die, then you die. There's no God to pick or choose. Okay.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, Caps.
Look, like you see me, I see life as quite simple. Like you grow, like just like an animal, you grow, you reproduce, you protect, you try and get better as much as you possibly can in what you've got in front of you, and you get older and you again try and protect and hope that them little ones love you, and then you die. And it's not actually hard when you think about it. It's quite easy, the movement. We ain't got many years in front of us. No one has. When you look at it, it's shit really, but it's life. And we just do as much as we possibly can. Some people don't do that. They don't give a fuck about anybody, and they don't try for anybody. That's the problem with people. But there's certain people that do, and I want to leave my kids with an empire if I can. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying, but I think we're getting a little bit off topic.
But the thing is, you cheating death. Cheating death comes against everything. I could walk across the road and see a stone, and I could literally stop someone from getting killed because of my intuition. And I could literally look at that stone and think, if that clipped a tire and shot in someone's face, that could end their life. And I've moved that stone. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but cheating death is all around you. It's your movement. It's your initiative. If you've got initiative, you can't buy it from the shop. You've got to know how to survive, and that's how you get taught. Instead of crossing a road, you could cheat death by missing a van that went past a corner, a blowing corner that you didn't see. But when you think about it, it's like if you're worthy of knowing about traffic and movement, you should already know that you shouldn't automatically just step forward. Do you get where I'm coming from? So again, it's how you get taught. Do you not agree? Come on, it's not about cheating death. It's about learning life.
Okay, so okay. I understand what you're saying. So everyone, let me ask this: is everyone familiar with the with Passover and what Passover means?
Yes.
Over what? Yeah, explain. Give me a
Okay.
It's a Jewish
synopsis.
holiday.
Right. So do you so God, if they put
More of an atheist than a god.
this was during Moses' time. If they put blood over their doorway, God would spare their firstborn.
No, that's a load of bollocks, don't you?
Okay, but Caps, just let me let me whatever. So again, you can either believe it or not.
No, come on.
Oh,
You can be stupid.
Caps, can I please talk? Thank you.
Sorry, I'll shut the
Okay.
fuck up. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. So again, this is in the Bible, and it depends upon whether you believe it or not. That's your choice.
You go to prison. Can I just say one thing?
Caps,
Please.
Caps.
Please.
No,
I'm
wait,
gonna leave.
no, wait, hold on, Caps. I want to finish what I'm saying. So, okay.
Go to prison, you get given a Bible. Why? Because it's a rule book. It's a load of bollocks, man. You know in yourself.
Okay, Caps.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
This is your warning. Okay, so you can either believe that, or you cannot. So going to what Crucible said, because Crucible, you said it a couple of times on various shows about God picking and choosing. So let's take it to something else. Let's say that you're in war and the enemy says, you better do this if you want to save your life. You better say this, and if you don't, we will kill you. If you say what they want you to say and you live, is that cheating death because you're actually going against what you really believe, that you just want to live, so you're just going to say anything? Is that cheating death? I mean, is God picking and choosing then, or is man picking and choosing? Is God not putting that person there to say, well, you can live and you can die? I mean, is that picking and choosing then? Crucible
I don't
or
think
Smoke?
so.
Okay, Smoke.
Yeah, I don't think it's cheating death, because I mean, you could say what they want you to say and they could still kill you. So
Yeah, I don't. I would agree with Saturday that I think God's what He's doing in that situation. Just my opinion is He's not picking and choosing, but He's putting you in a position where you're able to make a decision of your own volition. So if He has a role, it's in putting you there to decide. And He's not deciding. He decided to put you there so you can decide. That's not the same as Him deciding, I don't think. If I might have just confused myself.
So what do you think about the Passover? Do you think it's a bunch of crap, the way Cap said, or do you think that really happened? Or
I think people wrote
Yeah.
about it. I don't think that it. I don't. It's actually not that dissimilar from like what we're talking about now.
right.
It's people trying to explain things that they can't explain, and so you create a story, or you create something, and if it makes you feel better, it makes you feel better. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, as someone who's for me, I'm just more logical about stuff, and it doesn't make sense, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. I could be wrong.
And what's the difference between? I mean, you bring up a good point, Salad. I'm familiar with Passover. I'm not a Jewish person, but I know lots of them, and they celebrate it, and I know what the origins of it are. But it's a story, like Saturday said. It's a story, and the Bible is full of stories, and nobody was there to verify any of it. So you could
Like Chinese whispers.
you could ask the same question about the Bible, I suppose. I mean, what's to say it actually happened? There are people who believe it happened, but we don't know for sure. So I believe Passover happened. I don't have any reason not to.
Passover? What? Wait, explain. What do you mean, Passover?
Basically, it was like during the time of a plague, and the religious leaders told
What?
Jewish
In
people.
66? 1666?
No, this is like
No.
a plague in like the Bible, so like before Jesus
Okay.
was born. And basically, the religious leaders told their believers that they had to use sheep's blood to cover their door or something like that,
Over the
so
top
that
of their door. Yeah.
so that the evil spirits would pass by their house.
No, not evil spirits, so that death would pass by their house.
So death would pass by the house and wouldn't kill their firstborn. So I mean, you know,
Sounds like a cult to me.
All right. So, Jill, welcome. Thank you for being patient.
I think Chill just came for his music.
Jill, you there? Okay, I'm going to keep going. All right, so and I know that and again, I wish you guys were here when Crazy Train was talking, because she said so much, and to me, she made a lot of sense, so I was throwing stuff at her, and she was, throwing stuff back, but I mean, when again, I'm going back to the movie because the movie was just so interesting to me. It was just such an interesting movie, and the way they did it. Camps, can you mute, because you have some music that's coming through?
Kate Rose, man. Don't you like it?
You have some background
We're
music.
running at that road.
Okay, there we go. I muted for him. Okay, so I mean, I think that it's possible to cheat death, and again, you hear about people who are in a plane crash or a car wreck or whatever. Why does one person walk away and you're all in the same car, and some people die, or some people, they break their leg, whatever? Why do you walk away? When you get hit by a drunk driver, why are they usually the ones that walk away, but the person who they hit are usually, either dead, or they end up, clinging to a life? I mean, Chill, did you want to, are you back?
Yeah,
Okay.
what's happening, everybody? Um, yeah, so this whole subject is kind of like, I think JP mentioned it like a little bit earlier. I feel like who are humans to think that we matter that much to God. We're taught that our God puts us first and we're the center of the universe when there's a huge universe of important things that makes things run. I don't think there's no such thing, because it's just, I don't think he cares that much. I mean, not to say he doesn't care, but we're all death. He doesn't even see death like we see death. We think death is like, it's the but nah, not so much. Especially if he knows what's going on afterlife. If energy changes, if there is an afterlife, he may be calling his soldiers home for important reasons, and that's more important than anything. And we are on the, he's like, oh man, dang, it's so bad that they died too earlier. They went out like that. I don't think it's. I think that we don't really in our little peon brains, we don't really fathom what is the actual holistic scope of things, and we got a tendency to make sure, like, oh well, we taught that the things in this world, this universe, were put here for us, and we're the just because we're the most intelligent. I don't know if you can call it intelligent species, that it's here for us, and I think that's egotistical. And so I don't think I mean, coincidence is coincidence. You get that every day. I mean, but I don't know if necessarily cheating. Because I don't think they even views death. Death could be for a legitimate cause. It could be an honorable thing in some people's right. At some point, some people want to go to Valhalla, right? They want to die the right way, and then they, so what I mean. So I think we'd be way off when we think like that. If you, I mean, I could probably explain it a little bit better, but I think we'd be way off.
I agree with you completely. Like, you're
Okay.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
no, he's so right, and I love Chill. I hope you're doing very well. And like, seriously, this is the thing, and this is what we do. We can look at everything, but you know what you need to do in life is see what's around you. The more we get older, we see death, don't we? They didn't cheat death. They got older and they died. And sometimes you do cheat death, but I tell you what, everyone, you're lucky to be alive, man.
I mean, I know that we are all going to die. We're all going to die of something one day, but at the same time, like I asked Smoke, do you think that some people die too early? Were they supposed to die? Um, you know, um, you just look at the whole thing of just cheating death. Again, why did this person live and this other person die?
I get that all the time. My missus's mum and dad died at the age of like 60 something.
So
That's horrible, isn't it? And it's like she ain't got no mum or dad. It's like I've still got my mum and dad.
okay, Caps, you have a lot of background noise coming through.
Sorry.
Okay, so Crucible.
I'm sorry, Solid. I stepped away. You'll have to pass the mic for me. Sorry.
Okay, Smoke.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I do agree with Caps on one thing. The way Will says energy is just great. So if Will could say energy a few more times, that would be fantastic.
I don't know. That sounds like a little bromance going on there, Smoke.
No, I didn't say it was. I didn't say it was sexy. I just said,
I've got to fuck off anyway. Enough love to everyone. I'll see you soon. All right.
Thank you, Caps. Bye. So yeah, again, this topic again came from the movie. The movie, the first one especially, fascinated me. The second and third one did too, whatever. But just the whole thing about cheating death, and then how you really don't cheat death because it's going to catch up with you, and somehow, some way, you are going to die. And it just had me just thinking about different ways, are you cheating death? Like I said, if you have cancer or you get that, transplant, all of that, is that cheating death? So that's where my topic came from. So unless anybody has anything else, I'm going to start wrapping it up. Smoke, you want to give any last words?
just thank you, Solid, for another great show. It's always interested. Now, I'll be honest. I'm going to go back and watch Final Destination, but primarily just for the scene when that chick gets into the tanning bed. But I appreciate you're bringing this topic up today.
No, the without telling anyone who hasn't, I'm pretty sure everyone has probably seen the movie because it's been out for so long. But I think the best part, especially in number one, was at the very end with Mr. Big Mouth. That one student that just had a big mouth. That was the best one. And Boss says, yeah, the tanning bed one is the worst. I mean, that one was bad. That one was bad. But yeah, and even for something like that, I mean, are you really supposed to die like that?
It's tough. I mean, I was just reading today. There was an actress. She was on. I don't know her, but she was on the show One Tree Hill, and her husband got struck by lightning and died on a golf course, I think, recently. And he was only like 35, and she's like 33. And you think like nobody should be dying on a golf course getting struck by lightning. Like we should be. It's just one of those things. Like we should be past that, but we're not. And I mean, you hear about people get struck by lightning and surviving too. So it's just one of those things. Just makes you appreciate life, right? And we should all be doing the best we can each and every day.
Well, you know what? You just brought up something else. I'm about to wrap. I am about to wrap up the show, but I want to talk about 9/11 for a moment. Tron Cat, well, welcome. Do you think that everyone who did not get out of the towers, that they were supposed to die that day? Meaning that all those people who were walking down the stairway, some people made it out, a lot of people didn't. Do you think they were supposed to be there? That that they worked up on a higher floor because that was their time to die, that the people who were on the 20th floor were able to get out as opposed to people who were like on 60 something or 70 something?
I mean, I think it goes to the whole thing about your time to die and stuff, and I think as people, it the survivors, it makes us feel better to think that it was their time to go, and that's how they were supposed to die. It's really the only people who can talk about it are the people who are still living, right?
Right,
So,
right.
so I think it's like a comforting technique or something that we've created, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that to be like, oh, we're just being soft. There's nothing wrong with it. So I, I am of the opinion that I think it was just their time to go. They didn't deserve it, certainly, but it was just their time.
Okay. Bob says J.P. Morgan, who funded the building of the Titanic, cheated death when he came down sick 2 days before he was meant to be on the Titanic. And yes, I had heard that. And you had other people who also were not, who were supposed to be on the Titanic, and they weren't. So were they just lucky? Again, is it luck or did you cheat death? So, Crucible, you have any last words?
Yeah, just real quick on 9/11. Yeah, I guess to be consistent again, I think they were destined to die that day. And just to give like a maybe kind of an odd example, let's just say somebody started working in the World Trade Center a couple weeks before 9/11, and they were transferred from the 80th floor to the 100th floor. And next week, the World Trade Center came down, and everybody below the 80th floor got out, and then everybody above the 80th floor was killed. Well, 2 weeks earlier, before that person got transferred, they ostensibly would have lived, right? But they were transferred for a reason, because on that day they were supposed to die. But anyway, this is a great topic. I love talking about religion and divine intervention, luck, fate, coincidence. It's just a fascinating topic. So great show. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming up on the panel. And everyone, when I post the show later on, if you guys, I mean, it'll already be on YouTube, but if you all wait for me to post it on Podbean, listen to the first part, because Crazy Train, I really would like for you to listen to what she said, because I think that her conversation was really, really, really um, it interesting. So, Chill, do you have any last words?
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer. Like a lot of times people say, God don't make no mistakes, and if that's the case, um, cheating death would not even be a thing. If he wants you here, he wants you here. If he don't, he don't. Um, but in the same instance, and I like, especially like things like if somebody get a cold, catch a cold, and don't go on the plane. I mean, that's not. When you say cheating, I think like a gang, like when you get more information than other people to be able to counteract a situation, and that's not it. That's why I feel like that's when you say cheating
Well, if you have
or like
a
escaping.
but
That
if
that's
you
not
have
a
a
that's not
feeling, if you have a feeling of about something, or if something flashes before your eyes, because I do believe that people do get these feelings. So if you have this feeling, isn't that still like an inside thing, that you
or,
know something that
or
maybe
if you're
other
saying you
people
have an
don't?
intuition that I shouldn't go for whatever reason, that's fine, but that still wouldn't be a cheating, right? That would be more of an intuition that you have, right? And so that would be if you believe in God, I'm just referencing God. That would
Hmm.
be something that He would have gave to you. So And like I said, God sees death a cajillion times a day in every aspect of the world. So it's not you're not that big to him. Like I mean, not to say you're little, but in the grand scheme of things, death is probably something we can't fathom, and the reasons why, birth and death, for that matter, it you just can't fathom it. And for us to really try to figure it out, it's fine. But I think we can't fathom that shit. It's it's beyond us. Shit, we can't figure out how he got the code. How the hell he cheat death with the code? You didn't figure out how the hell we got it. So we not that much. Like I like you gotta. I'll be like, yeah, you gotta get over yourself. Like especially like cancers and shit. Like we got cancers because we ain't eating right and the fucked up shit that's in this world that we put here. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in God, people lived hundreds and hundreds of years, which I believe to some degree because if you ain't eat the air, the water, the shit, you wouldn't be getting cancers in the first place. So how you cheat something you wouldn't shouldn't have had in the first place if we were in the right environment? Can't cheat some shit that you didn't have. Like you know what I'm saying?
I mean, but people have had cancer since the beginning of time. They may have called it something
Right,
else,
and that's
but
because
it was cancer.
absolutely, and that's because of our living habits. For more likely, there's people who hold, especially holistically, that have beat cancer because they changed their habits. Of some shit we probably ain't supposed to eat meat. We probably ain't supposed to do a lot of shit that we do that create cancers. We probably ain't supposed to be watching be on these phones. We probably ain't supposed to be doing a lot of shit when the reference. There's a lot of shit we ain't supposed to do that decrease our lifespan from the jump. And so the cancer is the cause of it. You know, so and that's what I'm saying. So I mean, obviously they got defects and certain shit that you can't necessarily make happen from birth, but shit that you develop is coming from a habit you have had, or something that something's around you that affects you like that, and so it's fucked up in the first place. And so to say you cheated it when you shouldn't have had it in the first place, or the body shouldn't even. I don't know if um that's the proper way. But anything I'd be like, I'm getting what I should have got back out of my life, opposed to cheating it. So yeah, I don't know. I think we definitely are egotistical humans. We think the world revolves around us, and every day it shows us with a simple earthquake or a simple tornado or simple fucking typhoon that no, not really, motherfucker. You need to humble yourself. So
Okay, all right, and welcome, Kimberly, Michael. But we are wrapping it up. Again, if you guys take the time to listen to the show, please listen to the first part of it, because I think the first part, just in terms of when we were talking about cheating death, we really got down into the weeds of it and what have you. But I mean, everyone had valid opinions and comments, whatever. I believe some people do cheat death, but it comes back and it'll catch up with you. So I think that if you were meant to be on something, or you change your mind at the last minute, you were getting on that ride at Disneyland, and for whatever reason, you said, I'm not getting on this ride because something may happen, and the ride flies off the track or something. I don't know if that's necessarily luck. Is it divine intervention? I would go with that more so than luck. Did you cheat death? Possibly. So I don't know. But anyway, guys, today is Thursday, which is my Friday. I will not. Well, I might do a show tomorrow evening. I don't know. But if not, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and wherever you are in the world, and go where the wind takes you. Bye. Thank you, Kimberly, Trinecat, Sam, I Am, Bob, Crucible, Saturday Night Smoke, Crazy Train was here, Chill Will, Power Girl, Frankie, Alpha Mike was here, Shy Lady was here. Thank you all. Thank you all. I did. I said Chill Will. Shield, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Caps was here. And Shannon was here too. And Dushan popped in. And Alpha Mike says,
Somebody
I can
cash at me.
cheat
Why
death.
don't
I am immortal.
Solid, you never cash at me my $5. I'm gonna ask somebody else to
Uh-huh.
prove to
All